What else are we over for 2024? Let's get into it. Welcome to part 2 of the series of things that we are over in 2024. If you haven't listened to part 1, that was last week, we covered low libido, chronic fatigue, and a couple others. So you need to go back and listen to part 1 and join us on part 2. I realized in part 1, I didn't really talk about the Chile trip like I said I was going to. I just got too excited about the things we were over. So we're going to do a little bit of that today. We're going to go over 3 more things that we are over, done, gone, over it for 2024. And I just want to tell you and welcome you into my life. I just figured out, I read a whole series. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see the book, but A Court of Thorn and Roses. Okay. I know it's a hyped up thing, and you know how I do with hype. We talked about the Barbie movie. So I read what I thought was the first book and read through the whole series, and I have one more left. And I was at my sister's birthday dinner this weekend, and we were talking about books and everything and some of her friends. And I was like, yeah, I'm just a little confused by this series, like the order that it's going. And I'm like, what do you mean? And so I tell them, and they're like, oh my God, you read the last book first. No wonder you're so confused. Anyone else ever do this? And I swear I Googled it, like which one goes first. I don't know, but I read the orange one first. And now I have the red one left. And I finished all the other ones. So now I'm like, well, is it even worth reading? Because they were like, the orange one's the best. I don't know. So if you've read this series, A Court of Thorns and Roses series, message me on Instagram at Dr. Audrey and let me know if it's worth reading or not, or if I should just like start a new series, find a new book. And so far my review is it's good. It's not my favorite book or series in the world, but it's good. It's different. I'm usually a Colleen Hoover girl, but this is good. It has a storyline, a little smut, little of this, little of that. It's just, I'm not usually in like the fairy world. Okay. And if you're listening this week, the week of January 15th, happy Martin Luther King Day, and if you live in Nashville, you probably had at least one snow day this week. I don't know if we're going to have one tomorrow or not, but this is the most snow I've seen in Nashville in years. And of course, if you don't live here, we're in the South. They just don't have the equipment. So it just shuts down. Like the city shuts down. There's nothing open. Coffee shops, nothing. So you just snuggle down, stay warm, do some work, do some podcasts, get things done, and wait for the world to reopen. But we just don't have the equipment because this barely ever happens. So we're enjoying our snow day. Speaking of that, one thing I am so over for 2024, and I'm over it for you, I'm over hearing it, is sleep. Guys, you need to be sleeping. If you're not sleeping, you're not going to heal. You're not going to lose weight. You're not going to feel better. Your pain's going to be terrible. You're going to have headaches. You're going to have the brain fog, the bloating. Sleep is literally when you heal. I know everyone says you can do it when you're dead. We're going to be dead a lot faster if you're not sleeping than if you're getting quality sleep. You're going to be able to live longer and have not only the quantity of life in years more, but the quality. And we're going to go over 2 things. So if you're not taking magnesium at night, that is a game changer. And I can link my favorite one in the show notes, and you can order it. But you should be taking, depending on your weight, and I'm not your official doctor, but read the back of the bottle. It's anywhere between 200 and 400 milligrams at night. And it's key because you need to take it at night because it is helpful with your sleep, along many other benefits, which we're going to go over in a little bit. But that's number 1 for sleep. Number 2, this is what I'm having all my athletes and celebrities doing, and it's so fun to talk about because everyone has a little bit something different. But you need to create a bedtime routine. I know I talked about this earlier on in the podcast, but our bodies, we crave routine. Being all over the place, being up till 2 a.m. one night, going to bed at 8 this night, your body doesn't like that. And you need to be having those 7 to 9 hours of sleep. And if you're on the burnout train, I know we talk about a lot of this nervous system regulation in this podcast, but you're going to need at least the 9 hours. So create a bedtime routine, something that you can do that's a non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. This is what we're talking about, the athletes and celebrities. Like, you got to do it when you're on the road too. So here's some examples. Let's talk about mine, and then I'll give you some examples of some of my people. And I'm human, so this doesn't always work out, but I really like taking, right when I get home from work, I like to like rinse and shower off. It just kind of like separates the day from the night. And then before I go to bed, I like to do a little breath work. Sometimes I even listen to episode 17 of this podcast, Breathe in Your Butthole. I also have those free Breathe Out Attention series. We'll link those too in the show notes. I mean, it's free. There's one for like before you go to bed. I also then like to read. I'm a huge reader, and it's one of the things I've been doing way more lately because it forces me to look at the pages, comprehend what I'm reading, and I can't hamster wheel, because if I'm hamster wheeling, just like thinking, I don't absorb what I read, and I read the same page. So this is something that for my nervous system, I really enjoy. It like forces my brain to slow down a little bit. So, and I take my magnesium, and then I go to bed. And my whole thing was, it's never hard for me to go to sleep. It's hard for me to stay asleep. I'm one of the ones that wakes up, also because my adrenals and my nervous system, but wakes up at 2 and 3 a.m. and hamster wheels. And I'll get that occasionally, but it's usually when I'm like completely off my routine, not moving, not eating good at all, just something. So think about it right now. I'm going to give you some examples of some of my clients' bedtime routines, and they're doing it as they're traveling on the road. Like, you can do it. I have one athlete, he has to take an Epsom salt bath every night, hot Epsom salt bath. Like, we'll Postmates the Epsom salts to their hotel room, like when they're on the road for sports. And then they also listen to the Breathe Out Attention series, and they journal. They write like things going on in their head, and that is it sounds so dumb of like why people journal, because I just like was like, ugh, but it does work because you're putting all your thoughts on paper and like getting it out, so your nervous system can calm down because it feels like you accomplished something, and then it just helps you process it, so it's not just all stuck in there. So those are the 3 things they do every night. I mean, whether they're at home, whether they're on the road, like that's what they stick to. I have another client. Since they are a singer, they don't like to listen to a lot of words. So they just put calming sounds outside on of, like a rainstorm or something, and then just sit there and do the breathing that I taught them. And then they always have also like a warm tea before bed, which is, I'm drinking hot tea right now, but it's not bedtime. Got that BDE, Big Disc Energy. This is our office coffee mugs, and you can get one of those on the shop too if you like them. We'll link that too in the show notes. These are so fun, and of course they're the extra big ones. We don't need small coffee cups. We're over that too. So number 1, sleep. We need to figure out how to sleep. So magnesium and your bedtime routine are 2 key factors. What else are we over for 2024 in this part 2? Digestive issues. Your gut, I want to say something so profound here, but it is so important. Like, we hear it's well studied that like anxiety, depression, all that can be connected to your gut. And if you experience this, like I can tell when my gut's off, because I'll get even more anxious than I already am, or just like spiral a little bit of like, oh my God, am I having panic attacks? Like, our gut houses so much. Our gut also, with this, we already know it controls our mood, but that influences our pain as well. If your gut is angry, if you have so much inflammation going on, you're going to be in way more pain. And this is why, like, none of us, we want the magic pill. There is no magic pill out there. That you have to do a lifestyle change, and you have to move, and you have to eat healthy, and you have to hydrate. I mean, these are just 3 key components. And you got to pay attention to what you're eating. Like, I was with someone the other day and they've been on like antacids since they were 25 and they're in their late 40s. And it's just like that has its own, like that magic pill has its own side effects later on. And you didn't do anything to change or control your diet. So you're still getting not only the side effects of that medicine that you may or may not know yet, but you're getting the inflammation and everything that you're already having. So yes, this is a food thing, but like if you're struggling with GERD, acid reflux, constipation, diarrhea, abdominal pain, bloating, this is all your pelvic floor. And that's, yeah, we are going to talk about that and the long-term solutions in the pelvic floor fix, the Tickle Me Pink Edition, ladies, because it's not, I'm paired up with world-renowned hormone specialist Dr. Jordan Wiggins, and we combined to make this, well, it's a bonus 6-week program where you're going to get access to both of us and office hours. And then we're going to be teaching you, okay, what's the long-term fix? And like, how do I actually fix my pelvic floor? How do I actually fix these digestive issues? What am I supposed to be eating? What tests am I supposed to be asking for in my blood work? And then the other thing everyone talks about, we talked about this in the last episode, but low libido, like, I mean, for some reason, no one wants to talk about that or pooping. Like, I'm your girl. Like, let's talk about it. I mean, I dissected bodies. Nothing is TMI for me. Nothing. Actually, if it is TMI, I probably want to hear it and help you out with it. Like, we're all human. We all poop. I don't care who it is. And if you're not pooping, like I said, that's an issue. So this program is going to be fun because it's going to be small. We're limiting the space. And we're going to just get solutions, get answers, get real-time live Q&As, and move and feel the best that we can. So that'll be linked in the show notes. Like I said, I mean, if it's released, I don't know how many spots at this moment, I didn't look before I got up, are still available, but we are capping it. This isn't going to be one of those things where it's like, oh, this is open. Once we hit that number, because we want it to be a personal experience. And the fact you're getting 2 renowned lead experts in their field, doctors, on this, it's unreal. Like, this is valued at over $11,000 and there's nowhere close to that. And when this comes out, it will still be early bird pricing. So jump on it. See, talk about low libido. Haha, jump on it. Haha. Gosh, I'm hilarious. So then one more thing. So we've covered that we're over sleep troubles, we're over digestive issues. Also, we're over frequent illness. Right now, I don't care where you're at, everyone's sick, aren't they? And it's just like people accept this. And I talked about this in a previous podcast of like, actually, it's just inflammation and sugar and everything and not exposure to vitamin D. We're not moving enough. And this all comes out to equal more sickness. This goes back to your digestive issues. If your gut's more inflamed, you're more prone to be sick because you're already inflamed. If you're not sleeping, you're more prone to be sick. So as you can see, that's like the beauty / the hard part of like why the magic pill doesn't work, because we need to be doing so much more than just taking a pill. It is looking at the whole picture. What are your symptoms? What are you feeling? And putting together what your body's telling you through those things. That's what's so fun and why my job is never boring. It's just actually figuring out the root cause of this. And there might be a couple things and figuring out where we need to tweak it that's not overwhelming, because you're going to be different than me, different than my husband, different than the next person. And it's so unique, and finding those big heavy hitters that will make you feel better. It doesn't have to be so overwhelming. And that's what we're going to talk about in this pelvic floor fix too, Tickle Me Pink Edition. You don't have to be so overwhelmed and it take years. Yes, sometimes this is a slower process, like recovering from burnout. They're saying now takes for 3 to 5 years. And also, here's a little tidbit. If you've been burnout, if you know you've burnt your adrenals, you're gonna, and if you've been go in fight or flight, once you relax, you're gonna feel more tired than you've ever felt, because it's your body like, oh, we're actually relaxed. And I'm struggling with this. I'm not struggling. I'm grateful that I'm in the situation of my body healing, but it's letting me know, like, you're tired. You're really tired. Also, I still sleep with blankies. And I have this one. They're not my originals because I have this thing, if you can see, if you're on YouTube, where I tie knots in them when I'm really stressed. And then I like to like play. I rip them and like, as you can see, like shreds. But then you can move these knots around. Actually, one of my best friends from college, I gave her a piece of this blankie when we graduated. She still has it all these years later. She's a dentist too, so she went through crazy school. So we relate on that. So yeah, it's just something, this is soothing for me and relaxing and comforting. And there's something like sleeping with your soft blankies at night. So since I'm in bed doing this podcast, you get to see my blankies. Once again, we are over digestive issues, sleep troubles, and this frequent illness. In the winter, you should be taking vitamin D3. Okay? And I have a couple favorite brands, but we can maybe I'll just make a plan so you can order that. You need to be taking vitamin D. It's the precursor for so many things. It also helps with inflammation. You're not outside getting enough. I mean, so this is a non-negotiable. It's also going to help with your immune system and help fighting off all that stuff so you're not sick as much. And of course, a good quality vitamin C. I love it. And then just making sure you're hydrated and you're getting movement in and you're getting outside and you're taking care of yourself. And why would we not want to take care of ourselves? That can be fun. That doesn't have to be daunting. And it doesn't have to be 2 hours a day. Give yourself 2 minutes. Give yourself the 30-second reset. That is it. This doesn't have to be hard. So I told you I'd promise I'd talk to you about chili. Talk about resetting and like nourishing your body. Like it was an active vacation. It was so sweet. Everyone when I was back this week was like, I want to hear all about it. So I got to talk about it a lot. And we first started at, this is what I didn't talk about last week, the wine place, a winery in Vic. Vic was what it was called, but in wine country, it was beautiful. And there was a tub outside. Message me now and let me know if you would take a bath in this tub outside. I did, for sure. And it was the first time I've ever been like inside. The bathroom had like just a shower head. There's nothing around it, like nothing you step in, no door. And I thought I would hate it, but I actually loved it. It was kind of nice. And I thought water would be everywhere, and it wasn't. But at the winery, we went horseback riding through the vineyards. We did a tasting, we did chocolate pairing, a healthy picnic in their like grown garden. I mean, we hiked. It was just, I read a whole book by the pool. I got a massage. I mean, it was just really nourishing because then we flew to the lake region, which there's a ton of volcanoes. And oh my God, that was so fun too. We did a 12-mile hike on Christmas. At the top of the volcano, there was like snow. So we had a white Christmas. We were with some awesome other couples that we met, and we saw like lakes, some other activities that included like I went horseback riding again. And then we did the most fun whitewater rafting I've ever done in my life. Then we did another 5-mile waterfall hike and then kayak this river with like you could see the volcanoes. And at the end, we did talk about nourishing your nervous system, like a rope swing, which if you followed me on Instagram at Dr. Arderlance, I've posted it and it's pretty funny because I did not hold on very long, but it was in the 40-degree water. 40-degree. That was so cold. So cold. But it was so fun and so good. And just like getting out there, moving that activity, and then coming back and having like really good glass of wine and a good dinner. I love those vacations. So fun. Like your body feels so good. And in part 3, I'll tell you about our trip to Patagonia. But if you want to hear more in-depth stories and like more behind the scenes of my life, sign up for the MDR Weekly. It's free. I just get a little deeper. It feels a little bit more intimate sometimes. I tell you a lot on here too, but it's like different stories and different tips. And why would we not want to feel good, right? So once again, to dive in this deeper, you're going to have to join me for the pelvic floor fix and Dr. Jordan Wiggins. I mean, Tickle Me Pink Edition. Why would you not want to? And there's some really cool bonuses for everyone. And then if you pay in full, So don't wait. Like these seats will go. And I'm not like, we are not, it's not like Restore Your Pelvic Floor where I could open a few more seats on Zoom. Like we can't do that or people aren't getting the attention they deserve. And if you sign up, like you want that attention too. And there's only so much of it to go around. Like we both have full schedules, but I can't wait to have you in that and have us like hang out. It's going to be fun. So enjoy your snow day or your snow week or not. And next week we'll go over part 3 of things we're over in 2024. Mic drop.